All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, please. Can I hear us? All right.
Good afternoon, sir.
Well, welcome to our 246 class. We're very sorry for the late for coming late, for starting the class late. It's because of some technical issues, but we are getting over it. We are very sorry for that. Very, very sorry. So please, this is educational broadcasting, as it can be seen, and then the facilitator of this course is Dr. Francis Amenaghawon. We will start with the first part of the class. So this class is supposed to be for 2 hours, and of course we will ensure that we maximize the time. Please, I hope you can still hear me. Please, can you still hear me?
I hear you, sir.
All right. Okay, so thank you. We are starting with this course today with the what is educational broadcasting in Nigeria, and then we will discuss the history of educational broadcasting in Nigeria. We'll talk about what broadcasting is itself, and then we'll talk about radio. We will talk about radio and television, and what radio and television can do for education. Okay, so now let's start with what is broadcasting. In this class we'll be doing it together. Okay, so we'll be doing the whole thing together. We want people, you must contribute, say something based on your previous knowledge or your idea on what you know about what we're talking about on any topic. Just feel free to share your understanding from whatever it is that we are going to be discussing here. So let's to begin or to start with. Oh God. Hello, everyone.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, sorry, it's the network. So I'm back now. Let us continue. I will share my screen again for us to see. So share. Okay, so this is where we are. We are going to be looking at what is educational broadcasting, history of educational broadcasting, and then what radio and television can do for education. So now let's start. I asked a question the other time. I said, what is broadcasting? Can somebody tell us what broadcasting is all about? Someone, what do you understand by the word broadcasting? Please, very quickly. What is broadcasting? Somebody should please define what broadcasting is to us. At least you did broadcasting in your 100 level, and you must have heard about broadcasting. So what is the meaning of broadcasting? Before we start, I will go further in defining what education is and what broadcast education is. Please, can somebody talk? Can somebody speak? What is broadcasting? Please, if you can hear me, answer the question. If you can hear me, student, please answer the question.
Can you hear me, sir?
All right, I can hear you. Please go on.
To me, it's an act of telling a lot of people, like, exhibiting information through the use of mass media. That television, that's broadcast media, television and radio.
All right. Oh, thank you. Who else, please? Who else, please? Who just finished speaking? Is that Basil?
No, sir. Progress in Nebo.
Oh, Progress. Okay, Progress. Thank you, Mr. Progress. Who else? Mr. Emmanuel Yanu. Please, Can you tell us what broadcasting is? Okay, so for us not to waste time, let's just go on. So broadcast is a way of disseminating information to a large and heterogeneous audience through electronics. Okay, and then but let's just move further because we are dealing with what is educational broadcasting. Now, what is education? You see, education is defined as a process through which we foster in the individual desirable and relevant changes in behavior and attitude. Okay, education helps us to what? To change our behavior, and it helps in changing our what? Our attitude in the society. Yeah. That is according to a scholar known as Onabajo. Then education can also be defined as a planned series of incidents. I mean, it's a planned series of incidents having humanistic basis directed towards the participants' learning and understanding. If we say a man is educated, the man should be able to learn and understand whatever he's learning. You see situation whereby people are learning, but they don't understand what they are learning. There is no way they can apply whatever they are learning. And then in that case, we see people like that as not uneducated. Like you will be like sometimes, when people do something and then you are like, are you sure this person is educated? So now, but for you to know why it is that education must prove itself in the life of any individual that claims or that is claiming to be educated. So that is why in this definition, it says it's a planned series of incidents having humanistic basis that deals with human directed towards the participant learning. So whatever it is that is to be learned must be directed to human being, and then it must also what? Be learning indeed. And also the learning must come with understanding. Like what we are doing now. We are talking about educational broadcasting. So this educational broadcasting that we are talking about must come with what? With understanding. First of all, we are learning, and whatever we learn, we must what? We must understand. We must be able to understand it. So history of educational broadcasting in Nigeria. Okay. Very quickly, we run through in this slide. When Western education in Nigeria television, that was in WNTV, was established in October 31st, 1959. So education was seen as the purpose, the main reason for bringing up television in Nigeria. So time was made available, and then facilities too were made available to the Ministry of Education, in which this turned to be it's turned to be school, or it turned to its school broadcasting unit to produce series of educational broadcasts. Okay, so Ministry of Education later turned to school broadcasting unit to produce series of educational broadcasts, and then from there it moved to the northern region. I mean, the northern region of the northern region, the eastern region, southern region. They began to do the same. They began to do the broadcasting, educational broadcast. So there are a lot of things they taught, or people were taught during broadcasting. During broadcasting. So it actually started, you see, being educated in those days, one of the channels in which they used to educate people is through the broadcast media. So the broadcast media was used as an educational platform to instruct, to educate, to tell people about some certain things, about some certain events, about some certain changes that happened or that were about to take place in Nigeria. In the subsequent classes, we'll be looking at some of these things. We will see some areas where educational broadcast has been deployed in Nigeria. Okay, so we move. We move to the period, during the period that educational broadcasting was divided. So in that period, educational broadcasting was divided into three. Okay, into three, we have extensive educational broadcasting. We also have intensive educational broadcasting. And we have education, key to a better future. Okay, those three categories: extensive educational broadcasting, intensive educational broadcasting, and also we have the situation whereby education was seen as a key to a better future. So when we say extensive, when we say
Hello, please, can you all hear me? Hello?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. While my colleague joins me, while he tries to get back to network, I'll continue from where he stopped, okay? So, what the basis we're trying to set today, can you still hear me, please?
I can hear you, sir.
Thank you. So the basis we're trying to set today is to understand the relationship between broadcasting and what education. So as broadcasters, we first of all need to understand the basic functions that broadcasting does. When it comes up now, we'll continue from there. So first, we need to understand some of the functions of broadcasting, talking about information, education, entertainment, status conferral. Are you there? Mobilization, persuasion. So what we are trying to do today is to understand in this course, how can the broadcast media be used to promote educational purposes, both formal and informal education. And we now try to trace, when he gets back his voice, we'll continue with the slides. We're now trying to trace the history of educational broadcasting in Nigeria, tracking it from the region. Okay. Is somebody speaking? Hello? So let's go ahead. If you look at the slide now, you can see. Hello, can you still hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead. So if you look at the slide now, it's trying to show us the first major breakthrough in educational broadcasting came in 1984 with the establishment of the National Educational Technology Center. But I want us to set a basis first for our conversation before we continue with these slides, probably in the next class, because I'm waiting for him also to come up on track. So as students of broadcasting, can you list or explain some of the functions that you think we can use the broadcast media to do? One, we say we use it for education. Are we there? And that's what I want to focus on in this course. Which types of education can we use the broadcast media to do? Formal and informal education. Can somebody in the class try to mention some informal education that we, as broadcasters or students of broadcasting, can use the broadcast media for? For instance, now let me tell you one of the things. If you look at NTA uses the broadcast media, their platform, to teach informal education. For instance, Maggie Kitchen, they teach people how to cook. That's informal education. But we in this class will focus more on formal education, particularly also we learn in this class adult education. So let me ask the class, what are some of the functions you think the types of people who can use the broadcast media to reach out to for education? Groups of people that we can reach out to. Do you know also the broadcast media is used for nomadic education in Nigeria? The broadcast media is used for nomadic education in the sense that, for instance, herders, Fulani herders, farm communities have access to radio. For instance, now I've worked with some community radio like the one in Kutigi, Niger State. It's a community radio in Kutigi, Niger State that focuses on reaching the community with educational content, agricultural content, social content, political content. So such community radio is owned by the community. So later you can download materials to understand about community radio. So let me ask you, let me keep quiet and let the students contribute to this conversation. How do you think radio or TV can be used to promote education in Nigeria? Let's go ahead. Anyone? How do you think we can use radio, TV to promote education in Nigeria? As we said, the basis for this class. Anybody, please? Anyone in the class?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
What you are doing now is a means of promoting education, like
Yes.
the use of, though this is social media.
Yes.
Sometimes, like during the olden days, in that the British usually educate Africans through the British communication. Listen, so it's one of it.
Thank you. Any other person in the class that want to talk about? Let me tell you, like we started the basis in this class by defining what broadcasting is. Broadcasting is the passage of mass messages through an electronic media to a mass audience that are heterogeneous. So when you pass content through the mass media, electronic media, to a large audience that is heterogeneous, you have little control over those who can reach the content, who can receive the content you are sending. For instance, if you have a radio set, you can pick every radio station. Are you there? So, is there another contribution on what we can use radio to do in education? Any other person want to try?
Hello, I'm back.
Yeah. You're back. Okay. Now
Yes.
you can continue from where you are. Thank you. Go ahead. I was just taking the students along on trying to explain to them some of the functions that we can use the broadcast media to. Please go ahead. It appears your network is not fine. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. So let's go on. I think to answer one of the questions you asked, I think one of it is we can use radio to create awareness. We can use radio to create awareness. And there's a part in this course that talks about some of those things, and when we get there, we can discuss together. So let's go on. Here we have on the slide, I don't know if you can see the slide, the first major breakthroughs in the educational broadcasting came in 1984 with the establishment of the National Educational Technology Center, that's NETC, under the auspices of the Federal Ministry of Education. What were those things they did? First, it was actually established to train educational broadcasters and visual aid specialists, okay? So that when they are educating people on the, probably from the radio station or television station, there will be certain things for them to take note of and then make use of them. You know, there are different ways in which you educate people. And most importantly, when you are coming up with educational programs on the radio or television, there are some certain tools that you use, okay? So for effectiveness, for efficacy, they have to create, set up the National Educational Technology Center for the purpose of educating broadcasters and visual specialists, also to develop and to produce instructional aids. Okay, there are instructional aids that are usually needed for people to understand whatever instruction you are giving them. Also to produce and transmit educational programs on radio and television. To produce and transmit educational programs on radio and television. And to produce and transmit educational programs on radio and television. And then to conduct workshops and seminars, on the application of audiovisual technology to classroom teachings. All right, so let's proceed. What radio and television can do for education? What can radio and television do for education? What can radio and television do for education?
So are you asking us?
Yes. I'm asking you.
One of it, just like you said, is to produce and transmit educational materials.
Okay. To instruct and also transmit educational materials. Okay. Sir, you want to say something?
Hello. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
What I wanted to add is that what educational broadcasting can help us to do in the educational sector in Nigeria is that it can increase access to education. For instance, on radio, you can reach millions of people, but in a formal classroom setting, you cannot put maybe more than 30, 50 students in a class. But when we use radio, for instance, under COVID, we saw what we use radio to do in Nigeria. Radio and television helped us to reach millions of our students who were not able to go to school because of the lockdown. So radio and TV for education has that advantage of access. The Fulani herder who is in the bush herding his cow, we can reach him with different forms of education, even on how to take care of his cow. We can teach him different courses while he's in the bush. So radio, television has that. Even farm settlements can use radio to reach people in farm settlements. That's why I was talking about the idea of community radio. Are we together? So
yes.
Radio, television have that advantage of massification of educational content. We can reach more people than we can ordinarily reach in the formal classroom setting. Thank you. Let's go ahead.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Okay, class. So let's move on very quickly to the principles of educational presentation. Principles of educational presentation. And under this, we'll discuss what education is. We'll discuss what broadcasting is. Like we've given the overview, and also we'll also talk about the educational qualities of radio. Okay, so again, what is education? Okay, the other time we discussed educational broadcast. So what is education? Education is as essential to man as life itself on this planet. Okay, so the tool for the integration of individual effectively is educational identity into a society so that the individual can achieve self-realization, develop national consciousness, promote unity, and strive for social economy, political, scientific, cultural, and technological process. Okay, these are the things education stand for. All right? Education. So what is broadcasting? Like we discussed, and equal to this, broadcasting is an activity strictly limited to the electronic media. The electronic media may be best or may best be defined as all media forms appearing in electronic form, that is radio, television, films, projectors, computers, etc. Okay, so broadcasting is an activity strictly limited to the what? The electronic media. So when you broadcast from the education, when you educate from the radio and television, it is called educational broadcasting. Okay, and because it is broadcasting, it has to be what? Electronic. It has to be what? It has to be electronic. Educational qualities of radio. Educational qualities of radio include immediacy. Let's pick it one after the other. When we say immediacy, what does it mean? It means it is faster. Okay? It's a way, because when you look at the nature of radio, which of course we are still going to talk about radio, radio has that nature, that ability to disseminate information to a large and heterogeneous audience. So, and it happens with speed, it go wider. It covers much more than newspapers or than television will cover. So immediacy, as it is coming, you hear it. Then realism, okay? One of the qualities of radio is that it is realistic. Whatever it is being done from it, apart from the fact that it's a drama, there are times we use radio drama to also educate people. So it comes with realism. It also comes with emotional impact. When the presenter itself, the way it's discharging, or the way the broadcaster is discharging the educational material, may at times come with emotional impact. Then authenticity, originality. Okay, you cannot go to radio stations and be giving people fallacious stories, or telling them things that are not. Okay, then cost. Radio compared to television is cost effective. Okay, it's manageable. It's even it's okay to use radio as a way of educating a large audience. In radio you can get a lot of people, and that alone can ease you the stress of spending more. So it is cost effective, even though you have to pay certain amount there, but it's cost effective. All right, so very quickly, categories of educational broadcasting. What are those categories of educational broadcasting? We have first of all, we are going to be looking at why is educational broadcasting important. So we'll look at the importance, then we'll look at educational broadcasting and the children. Then we'll talk about methods of educational broadcasting for children, then some challenges of broadcasting to the children. So now, why is educational broadcasting important? Why is it important? Can somebody say the reason why it is important? It is important because it helps to what? Why is it important? Hello, is somebody speaking? Why is it important?
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
To me, it's important because it is having the kind of education being mentioned that's reaching out to the large number of people than the normal education.
Okay, thank you. Another person, please.
I think it's important because you can reach a large multitude of people than normal way. Like it can it can reach more people than tell, like explain, and like they get more advantage.
Okay. Who else? Anyone else, please?
Sorry, please, what's the question? I just received the call, so I missed that question.
The question is, why is educational broadcasting important? Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So why is it important? I think one of it should be that educational broadcasting is important because it will help to inform. Okay, it will help to inform the people about what is happening, and it will help the people to learn more. Okay, the children especially, the children will learn more. We also have like adult education, whereby the adults too will learn more things, right? So they will learn more, and then they will know better things that they don't know, or things that do not appear to them, things that they were ignorant of, will be made known to them. Okay? Those things will be made known to them. So let's just go back. Okay. Okay, so educational broadcasting and the children too, for children, there is this educational broadcasting program that is also meant for the children. So there are times whereby we have different kinds of programs being aired on the radio and on the television for children alone. Okay, so children programs, sometimes there are some schools, they will come up with some certain programs for the children to have enjoy themselves.